Good evening, everyone, and we want to thank you for joining CCR&R for a week-long celebration, Caring for Essential Providers. We are glad to have you here with us. This session this evening is sponsored by CCR&R of Southwest Iowa Region 3. And I did announce yesterday's in error. I'm so sorry. That was CCR&R of Region 5. That was Southeast Iowa. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'd like to now introduce Dawn Powers, who'll be telling you more about tonight's event.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dawn Powers from, as Bobby said, Iowa Child Care Resource and Referral in Region 3, which is Southwest Iowa, sometimes referred to as the dark side of the moon. I'm the training specialist for this area, and I want to welcome everyone to this Friday night session of a week-long celebration of you, the providers. We're here to support Iowa in everything childcare. Karen had to go dark because I'm messing her up here. I want to take a minute to tell you what Child Care Resource and Referral offers, just in case you don't know all of our services. The parents in the community, we serve the parents, the communities, and you. We have parent specialists who will help parents find childcare that fits with their family's needs while providing some parent education about childcare in Iowa. We offer training for you, the providers. We also work with communities we also work with communities who are working on childcare solutions. So if you need more information on any of that, take a look at our website, which is www.iowaccrr.org. I want to make sure tonight after the session that you stay tuned for the prizes and the announcements. And now I would like to take a minute to introduce tonight's session, which is Self-Reflection with Karen Williams. Karen is not a scientist or researcher, but she is an educator known for her ability to explain the latest neuro research in ways that are fun and easy to learn and easy to apply to real life. She does workshops for professionals in childcare, child welfare, education, mental health, juvenile justice, highway traffic safety, and prevention coalitions. And I'd also like to thank Karen for being here because she lives in Texas. And if you've been following what's been going on, it's been an event for Karen to get internet and be here with us tonight. So with that, I'd like to introduce our speaker for tonight, Karen Williams. Thank you.
Hello.
Karen.
Hi, everyone. I'm actually dressed like the Michelin Man. I mean, I can barely put my arms down and my knee and ankles together because I have so many layers of clothes on. But I'm going to share my screen. There it is. Look at that little screen. Do I want to share that? Yes, I do. Share. I'm going to put it on big. And that's what I'm going to look like. Now, Dawn, you have to tell me, are you looking at my screen?
I do see your screen, Karen.
And you don't see me?
I do see you.
Oh, well, I don't want you to see me. What are you doing? Hang on. I'll get rid of that and I will find me and take me. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do with me. Stop share? No, I guess it's all right if you see me. You really shouldn't be able to see me. You should be able to see only my screen.
We're not seeing the preventer. There we go.
So Karen, she can just see you because you're a panelist along with her, but the audience is seeing your screen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Okay, all right. Hello, everybody. I'm going to be very professional this evening. Actually, I'm going to just tell you right now, I'm going to burn my leggings after this week is over. I have 3 pairs on. And I've been putting the one next to my body out, so for every 3 days, that one gets next to my body again. It's been next to my body much too much. And okay, so I'm going to self-reflect all night. Well, welcome. What are you doing on a Friday night? Okay. This is self-reflection, finding the best you. And I love my little man, my little minion. And it's a provider appreciation. Isn't that nice? So hello, we're talking about self-reflection. This is me. It's an old photograph. I love it. And it's retouched. I'm your narrator. And let's go. So the first thing I tell everybody is just to relax, because somebody's going to want to take a note. One sentence out of this entire thing will be something you want to keep. Don't worry about it. Note taking actually splits your attention, focus, and concentration and requires an effort more demanding than playing chess or reading a book or memorizing a list of nonsense syllables. So research shows that when the meat of a workshop is provided in a handout, and this one is, 75% of workshop participants gain the most by just relaxing and attending, which allows their attention, working memory, and comprehension to be engaged fully, not fully engaged, but engaged fully. That's grammatically correct, thereby increasing their understanding. So for those of you who just need to take notes, eat, stand, pet the dog, doodle, do needlework, anything you can do to absorb, just do it. A handout's available. Please contact your training department. So, okay, self-reflection is just really like looking in the mirror, but it's not about our outside stuff. Inside, we take a good look at our inside stuff, and we're going to decide, what do we see? What do we want to do about it? And self-reflection is not about judging or correcting me. It's about taking care of me as if I were my own child. And we don't think of that all the time. I tell people all the time, put a picture of you as a baby on your bathroom mirror. And each morning, make sure you look at that baby and go, that's who I have to take care of today. Because quite literally, Steph L raised her hand. Does she need something? Which is our media on correctly? Okay. So you're taking care of you as if you were your own baby, your own child. And you know, there's a child trying to make a decision. What would you tell that child to do? Probably I would tell them to get down on the floor and put their hands in the different holes and feel those holes and put their hands on that box and feel that box and say, does it have a point? Only one point. Is it round feeling? You know, give that child some real assistance. And that's what I really want you to do with you. When you're reflecting on you, don't be looking for all the things you're doing wrong, which is here you're standing and, you know, you could be criticizing this child, but instead you want to encourage that child. We're all looking for a place to fit. That's our whole lives. We're all doing that. But do we encourage ourselves as we would a child? And I think that many times we do not. Do we make sure we're fed and watered and nurtured? Are we the last one on the list? Do we check in every day to see how we are doing? And that's all self-reflection does, is help us do that. We want to know if we're growing. Now, I'll tell you how blind you can get. I bought one of those parsley plants that you see at the grocery store. You know, it's just this tiny little potted plant and produce. I think it's about $2.95. So it's a pretty good price for just a little, you know, pot. And I put it on my windowsill because I was going to have basil. Basil. It's a basil plant. So I love Italian food. So I was going to do basil. That sucker died. Now, someone said to me, you look at that every day. I don't have a dishwasher, so I do my dishes. So I'm looking at my sink every day, and I missed feeding and watering that plant. All I had to do, the faucet's right there, is stick it under the faucet very quickly. But that's how we can ignore ourselves. We get so used to it being there that we just don't see it anymore. We don't pay attention to ourselves. And that's what self-reflection demands that we do, is check in every day to just see how we're doing. Now, since looking directly in the mirror can be a bit exciting, you might want to just consider how close you want to look. I love this picture. You know, children, especially infants, learn so much quicker with mirrors. Their surroundings should be just about the height of them, whether they're crawling or walking or whatever, and have mirrors. And it's just amazing what they find out about themselves. Now, this child is looking at himself or herself like I do. I mean, I avoid the mirror, but, you know, that's just because I know what I'm going to see. Now, you can look at the present, what's happened today. You can look at it with your naked eyes, or sometimes you may need your glasses to look closer. You can actually become your own little detective, okay? And you're going to look with a magnifying glass. You're going to look closely at stuff. And then there are those of you who want to use a microscope. This workshop, or this presentation, whatever you want to call it, has something for everybody. Some of you are going to go, oh God, no, that you're, whatever you prefer, naked eyes or a microscope. And then you can always look at your past. Look in the rearview mirror. That's what I do. I do a daily check. And, how was my day? Nobody asks me that, anymore because I'll tell them. And so when I lie down at night, I kind of review my day. And some days I just don't want to review it at all because I just had a lousy day. But other days I just take a look at what my what it was like all day. Okay. And then you can use binoculars and look a little further back. And then you use a telescope and look a little further back. And then you can go back to your DNA. And we probably need to know a little bit of all that. So I'm going to do some just assortment. If you went on the internet and you put in self-assessment, you would come up with 288,000 different tools and people's opinions. So I'm not worried about you being able to find things to do self-assessment with. They're out there. But we're going to do a little bit tonight too. Now, have you ever had anybody tell you you're intimidating? That you just scare the pants off of them? Well, and you are looking at that little shadow. You're not looking at the big one. You don't see yourself the way others do. It's a chance for you to take a look and see, what do people find intimidating about me? And do I really want to keep that? Oh, wicked me. Or do I want to make some changes there? But see yourself from somebody else's angle. That's another way of doing self-reflection too, is to get those opinions from people. Used to we did journaling and diaries. Teenagers still do. I didn't realize that, but they do. And diaries and journals are some kind of a reflection. We can, it depends on whether you're alone or you live with someone and you have children. If you have children, you have very little time for self-reflection at all. When you fall into the bed, you probably just don't want to reflect on anything. So I personally like to squint, take the long view of my reflection in a pool of water. Because, my age, I can't stand too much excitement, and just there's so much I can stand. And what's good about that water is I can blame any faults that I find on the distortions in the water or the leaves or the filter failure. It's just, I like that ability. And then self-reflection is akin to mindfulness, as it begins to by asking us to take a deep breath and let it out slowly and just to be aware. So let's just take one in and blow it out longer than you took in. Okay, I'm going to sleep now. Mindfulness is an external awareness. Are you mindful or you're mindful? Are you focused on your surroundings, your environment, without any evaluation or judgment? And you don't have to like it or dislike it. It just is. Just try that for once in a while, being mindful. And mindful could mean a lot of different things too. How mindful are you of the time? How mindful are you of the people in your lives? But now self-reflection asks us to be aware of ourselves. It's an internal awareness. It's the opposite of mindfulness, but it uses the same kind of fracture, telling us to take a deep breath, let it out slowly, and just be aware for a second. Now, it's our willingness to be our own inspector, our own detective. But I want to remind you of something. We must be willing to wait for the inspector's or detective's report before making any evaluation or judgment. Don't send it to trial too early, because that's what we normally do. We jump to the, evaluation or judgment part. That's tough. Doing any kind of self-reflection is tough. The detective, the judge, and the jury, all of that. In self-reflection, we take all those roles, and we're often the media. The moment we find out about it, we have to tell somebody. So, our terms. When I spent some time doing some looking, and I went through all my self-reflection books, because I buy books. I'm a bookaholic. And Amazon Books and I are, we're just connected at the hip. So I have several on self-reflection, but as I read through them, I realized that they use interchangeably introspection with self-reflection and self-assessment. Now, self-evaluation is something else. So self-reflection kind of leads to introspection, which leads to self-assessment, which, okay, that's blah, blah, blah. Let's just talk about self-reflection. Self-reflection is a process that you use to see yourself. You know, is it the mirror? Are you seeing with your naked eye? Are you seeing with binoculars? You're looking back really close. Are you doing close, near, or far away? Eyes wide open or squinting? How often? Daily, weekly, monthly, yearly? Never. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Is it about right now or is it in the past? That's what you're asking yourself with self-reflection. Now, introspection is self-inspection as well, but it's what DNA and nature gave us to start with. It's about our genes. What kind of relations did we have? What kind of risks do they bring? Is there a genetic predisposition for alcoholism, diabetes, heart disease? There's risks. There's assets. Oh, what a cute little nose I have. Oh, how precious I am. And then there's survival instincts. You know, fight, flight, and freeze. We're born with those. Well, are you a fighter? Are you a fighter? Are you, tuck your head in the sand? And you have a temperament. That's your, we now come to understand the word temperament to mean our sensitivity to distress. How much green do we stay in? It's a gauge. We go from green to red, green to red, green to red. Some people are in the green all the time. Some are in the yellow. Some are in the orange. And some are born in the red and stay in the red. I mean, you've got to manage those things. So you got to know about them. Okay. And then there's self-assessment, self-inspection of the aspects of your life. So look, we have self-inspection, 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 3 of them. The process, what DNA and nature gave us, and the different aspects of our life that we have built since birth. And those are your health and your resilience, your ability to be flexible and, get yourself back online when you fall off. Adversity and distress. You know what adversity does? You know what kids are like who have not been able to manage the adversity in their lives. They don't manage their distress. It just literally overwhelms them. Then there's your personality, your values, your character, your habits, your aptitudes, your attitudes, your thoughts, your intentions. What kind of family member are you? What kind of child are you? Okay, to your parents. I mean, are you a good daughter, son, friend? What kind of friend are you? Mate, lover. What kind of parent? And professionalism. There's tons under that. How do we make decisions? And there's all sorts of things that you can do. I've got a couple in here, but not a lot. And what's my spiritual makeup? What's my professionalism? I've got professionalism and political bent. Spiritualism or spiritual nature and your life satisfaction. And that's just a few of them. People got tons of them. Now we're going to turn the corner. We've gone from self-inspection, looking at ourselves, to self-evaluation. And some people go immediately to self-evaluation. They go from self-reflection right over to evaluation. Self-measurement is what self-evaluation is how your aspects, the things under self-assessment, health, all those others, how they measure up against some criteria. And you judge yourself. Now let's all think about where we got our criteria. For at least half of us, our mother was our judge, and she set the criteria. So as far as I'm concerned, I will never measure up. But do you like those, where you are in those aspects of your life, or do you dislike it? That's a judgment. Do you have some strengths and assets and some limitations? And that leads you to self-direction. Look, am I going to try to stay the same, or am I going to change, or will I ask for help? And who am I going to ask for help? So this process is really valuable, and we've been doing it forever, but some of us have never done it. So self-reflection, introspection, self-assessment are all about self-inspection. And then you self-measure. Try not to measure too quickly. I was having friends, I cooked dinner for my neighbors who still work like crazy people. I'm working all the time. They work like a 14-hour day as a normal day and work Saturdays and Sundays. So they eat box of crackers. That's what they have. So I cook for them. And we had these discussions. I said, well, I'm doing this, presentation on, and they all had different points of view on what self-reflection was. I thought, how very interesting. So I took everybody's input as well as everything that's out there and made a mishmash of it. You lucky children. Okay. Now you know that this is my love, and you're never going to get away from me telling you something about the brain. I do it every time. Look, this is reason if you're going to change, you can change. This is exciting to me. Neuroplasticity. The neurons in our brain are like Play-Doh. Our brain is plastic. It's easy to change over and over, just like Play-Doh. You squish a little snake out and you want to make a frog. You squish it back in, you make a frog, you make a donut, you make an airplane. My artistic ability is limited. But whatever you do, changing the actions and behaviors we repeat forms new habits and changes the brain. It rewires the brain, changes the architecture. We start anything. Okay, let's say we're going on this line. What we practice and repeat wires and rewires our brain. We're doing it right now. So we're on this line and we do not like where we're going. I mean, life is just kind of out of our control and we just are moving along. And then we decide to make a change. I don't like how I'm going. Well, see, blood, oxygen, and energy follow all the activity in your brain. Whatever you are doing is getting the blood, oxygen, and energy. So if you're upset, blood, oxygen, energy is going there. It's not going to the rest of the brain. Whatever you don't get fed blood, oxygen, and energy goes croaks. So what we practice and repeat wires and rewires our brain because it's carrying the blood, oxygen, energy with it, the BOE. Now, I've changed what I'm doing. If I continue to do that new practice, pretty soon, my area that I had done before, the progressing on a pathway I didn't like, begins to die out because blood, oxygen, and energy isn't getting to those neurons. They cannot make a network. They are croaking. And pretty soon, that old habit disappears and the new habit is built. So whatever you find in your self-assessment that you go, oh, I really don't like that. I really want to make a change. Take a step toward making that change and repeat that step and make it more practiced than your old one because you're going to slip back. You know you are. That's a habit. You've got a habit. You want to break it. So, we build habits quite easily in a way because you didn't have the habit of walking and talking, but now you have that. You got it so well. I mean, you couldn't walk, you couldn't talk, you strained and struggled. Now you've got it. So think about this. Whatever you want to change, you absolutely can. You're wired for it. So let's end up with this as a definition. Self-reflection is deliberately identifying and thinking about one's own interest, values, traits, personality, character, aptitudes, attitudes, thoughts, intentions, motives, actions or behaviors, and habits. It's a lot to think about. But that's being deliberate about it and actually spending some time thinking about it. With or without evaluation or judgment, your choice. So let's start with introspection. Our DNA. Now, think of this as a smorgasbord of things that are out there that I'm just delivering you on a plate. You've come to my party. You're going to walk down the aisle with a plate and you're going to pick up something out of the smorgasbord, just a little bit of sample. Okay, this is sample. According to DNA Weekly, and yes, that is a website. So you can go to DNA Weekly, and they actually have listed as of February 2021, so recent. I called them up and said, I'm actually going to do this presentation. Could you give everybody a break on their DNA? Oh, yes, I can. So my heritage, they listed as number one. And if you go to the website, you can figure out whether one partridge. I've never done this because I really couldn't, it's not my budget. But my heritage is the number one. Ancestry, living DNA, Find My Past. Now, Find My Past is really interesting because it's reported to have the largest British and Irish database, in case you're interested. Then begin your journey with the family tree DNA. And then the future of your health is in DNA. Unique like you. That drives me crazy. They can't be like me. Unique like you. I don't know. There's something wrong with that statement. I am unique. There's nothing else like me. Okay, well, whatever. And then 23andMe, 23 little chromosomes, 24 genetics. And if you go to that DNA web, like I was telling you, that website, and you look at their list, they literally give you, I think there's up to 38% discount. So I'm just marketing. Okay. Personality. All right, y'all are going to get hives. This Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, is for people who want to use a microscope to look at themselves. They will see every hair follicle. Okay. Now, it was developed by a mother-daughter team. Yay, women! Isabel Briggs Myers and her mother, Catherine Briggs, in the 1960s. Now, Myers-Briggs built on the personal theories of Swiss psychiatrist Dr. Carl Jung, not Jung, as outlined in his book Psychology Types. Now, look at the dates of their births and deaths. Catherine Briggs is 1875 and died in 1968. I think she was 87. And Isabel was born in 1897 and 1980. She was about 84. I don't know what she was, 83, 84. I cannot get used to 1875 and 1968. That seems like 2 centuries apart, and it's driving me crazy. No, 1 century apart. I don't know. It just seems like a lot. Well, 87 years is almost a century. Never mind. I will get over it. Just digress. Okay. So they listed the personality types built on Jung. Basically, you choose one of the 2 that you see above the line. You're an extrovert or an introvert. You're intuitive or you sense. You're a thinker or you're a feeler. You're a judger or you're a perceiver. You hear people go, well, I'm an ESTP. Well, good for you. I'm sure there's a salve you can put on it. But, I do like the fact that they started with extroverts and introverts, because what's interesting about me is I'm an introvert and people drain me of energy. And I have friends who want to be with people all the time because being with people gives them energy. They love being with people. I hate being with people. I really like being with you guys, as long as you can't see me. Okay, so you're either intuitive. Okay, so you choose one from each pair and then form a 4-letter type. So whenever you are at a party and someone starts to tell you their 4 letters, you can look at them with great wisdom. But there's also the Keirsey temperament sorter. Now, he used temperament differently than I do. Temperament is now shown to be our sensitivity to any level of distress. And then he looked at it differently. There he is, Dr. Keirsey. He had 2 books, Please Understand Me and Please Understand Me Too. He just wanted to be understood. Now, Keirsey expanded on the ancient theories of temperament by Hippocrates and Plato. Oh, how wonderful. And he actually used the names suggested by Plato: artisans, guardians, idealists, and rationals. And the resulting 16 types correlate with the 16 types of the MBTI. Isn't that wonderful? Now, what he said was, the idealists, guardians, rationals, and artisans are either proactive or reactive, abstract or concrete, and cooperative and utilitarian. And that's how you get what you get, if you wanted it. And that says guardians are the cornerstone of society. They're given to serving and preserving the most important social institutions. Oh, I think it's some of you guys. Idealists are passionately concerned with personal growth and development. Their quest for self-knowledge drives their imagination. Well, it isn't me. Okay, rationals are the problem-solving temperament. They are rigorously logical and value competence and ingenuity above all. Well, that's not me either. Artisans want it to be where the action is spontaneous, adaptable, and competitive. They believe today must be enjoyed. Well, so far I'm not there. So, interesting. So, okay, you can do that one with a magnifying glass. Now, true colors. Okay, you're going to see my bent. This is my true colors. You can either do it naked eye or with glasses. It is the easiest to do. And let me tell you why. It's a personality profiling system created by Don Lowry in 1978. There's old Don. After working with David Keirsey, the guy we just talked about, Lowry realized that those models were too complex and challenging for people to apply to their everyday lives. That took care of me. He was the first to apply the colors of orange, gold, green, and blue to the 4 temperaments, coining this methodology called True Colors. And do not mix that up with Cyndi Lauper or Justin Timberlake, the song True Colors. I was going to play in the background, but no, I won't sing it. Okay, so now this is the reason I like it. It was originally created to categorize the 4 basic learning styles for at-risk youth. And it's been used in thousands of classrooms and with thousands of counselors, and is now used by corporate. And but still so easy to do. So I would like you, while I put this up here, to kind of give yourself a circle and like a pie chart. And the pie chart would have what percentage you think you are of blue, gold, orange, and green. So I'm going to read the blue to you. Blue is emotionally driven, seeks harmony in groups. It's enthusiastic, creative, and sympathetic. Gold, on the other hand, is loyalty driven. It respects rules and authority, it's responsible, it's organized, it's appreciative. Orange is short-term driven, welcomes change and variety, adventurous, competitive, impulsive. And green is logically driven, independent thinker, focused, efficient, and analytical. Now, I did True Colors many, many years ago, and then have done it like once a year, just for my own little set of cards. They just got the same cards I got, I think 25 years ago, I still have. They look horrible, who cares? I have never varied from this. I'm 80% green, 10% blue, and 10% orange. Not a gold streak in my being. No respect for rules and authority, no responsibility, not organized, and not appreciative. But I said, it can't possibly be. That just is not okay. But my family totally agreed with that one. So, now I see why I'm in neuroscience, but it's. So what did you think you came up with? Which would you give yourself? Would you give yourself? Some of you are 80% gold. And let's look a little bit further. Let me get my little clicker here. Look, blue, how does that make you feel? Orange, just do it. Gold, be prepared. Green, why? All right, here we go. We're going to do it. I'm going to give you a little more on you. Blue, your strength is authenticity. Your value is compassion, sympathy, rapport. You dislike any kind of hypocrisy, any deception, any insincerity. You like to express vivacity, enthusiasm, inspiration. Gold is driven by duty. That's your strength. Dependability, accountability, responsibility. You hate disobedience, nonconformity, insubordination, and you like to express concern, stability, and purpose. You can see why that's a leader. You can see why that's probably one of the largest areas in people's personality that run organizations. Green is all the only strength they believe in is knowledge, value, answers, intelligence, explanation. They dislike injustice and unfairness, and everything is unjust and unfair. And then they like to express coolness and calm. Well, not really. And then orange, their real strength is skillfulness. Their values are great skills, grace, finesse, and charisma. They really like all those kinds of things. They hate anything that's rigid, and they hate authority. And well, this says dislike. I didn't say hate. And they express optimism, impatience, eagerness, and confidence. It's good to know you and how others will view you, because that's how they'll work with you. A successful organization has individuals that know themselves and they know each other, because you're not going to ask someone to do something outside their stratosphere, you know? Now, the general population, about 15% is green, 15% is blue, 35% is gold, and 35% is orange. What is it? Yeah, orange. So you have a lot of creators, a lot of managers, some counselors and thinkers and lovers, and some people who are green. Now, teachers, on the other hand, look at that. 46% are blue and 46% are gold. 3% are orange and 5% are green. Now, 3%, the artisans on campus, music, art, drama, for a while were just cut out of the circle altogether. And science is getting larger. It's almost 10% now. This was done several years ago. It's about 10% because of STEM. STEM is bringing it on. Yay, STEM. And then literally you can get the cards off of eBay if you want to just do your own. Argonnet, the net's really great. But this is so simple. I think it's fun. Oops, what did I do? Yeah, there I am. I'm going to turn my light on. It's dark here. What an intelligent person. I turned the light on.
They can, Karen, they can see you. I just wanted to let you know.
They can?
Can you guys see her?
Can I take myself off? Because I don't want anybody having to see me. That's not, because
Yes.
I block the screen.
So Karen, you need to stop sharing your screen and then turn your camera off, and then you can share your screen again. Then they'll only see your presentation.
Stop share. Go there. Stop there. Stop the video.
There you go.
Oh,
Now you
isn't
can go
that the
back to
cool?
share your screen and you'll
You
be
all
set.
are so nice to me because you didn't have to tell me that. You could have just looked the whole time. You could have just made me miserable. But no, what happened? Did I share my screen again?
Not
No,
yet.
good, but they've enjoyed watching your facial expressions, so it's nice.
Well, okay. Well, that's horrible. Okay. How do I share my screen again?
Now you go down to the bottom of your toolbar and there'll be a button to share screen.
Oh, button of my, that's my toolbar, right? That's my, what is that? That's you, Bobby. So is that share screen there? Minimize video. Oh, this is so exciting. Share screen. Share. Look.
Perfect.
You guys are so fun. Okay, I'm going to go back to my grown up. I'm so much more grown up now. Okay, hang on. There I am, professionally. Okay, this is for people who want a magnifying glass. Now, this is Now Discover Your Strengths from Don Clifton, the father of strength psychology. Okay, I like this. This is Clifton Strengths Assessment and Overview. If I were running an organization and I had a team of people, I would want to be sure I had some of all of these. And then I had to manage them. I'd pull my hair out. But it's really quite good. There are 4 domains of team strength. There's executing. Yes, executing. Well, I think that's not a good term. I mean, executing, you could just do away with people. It might be a good thing, but that's just not okay. Why don't we call that executive? Okay. Then it's influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. People with a dominant executing things, they just like to kill people. No, know how to make things happen. Well, that's what you want. And then there are people with dominant influencing, know how to take charge, speak up, and make sure the team is heard. Well, that means 2 of them. People with relationship building have the ability to build strong relationships that can hold a team together and make the team smarter, greater than the sum of its parts. And people with a dominant strategic thinking helps teams consider what could be. They absorb and analyze information that can be informed better decisions. It's basically the colors. But it seemed interesting because he spent 25 years building this thing and then introduced it in 2001. And by 2007, the Strength Finder 2.0 was released. And that's when Gallup bought it. Made Don Clifton so happy. He's rolling in the dough. And everybody gets to do Now Discover Your Strengths because Gallup is big and they put it out there. They gave him credit, Don Clifton at the top, and it's from Gallup at the bottom. So you can do this one, but you need a mic, it's taking time. Now, personally, okay, I thought this was cute. Rose, bud, and thorn. It's basically just questions you ask yourself. What's working in your life? Well, if I were taking this, I would tell you right now, I've lived with rolling blackouts, pots and pans full of water, the same clothes on for a week, freezing, sleeping in my sleeping bag, and just walking around in it all day. Okay. What are you finding fulfilling? My internet came back on. I'm just telling you. Who and what is energizing to you? I have fun with you guys. I mean, I just love Dawn. She makes me so happy. So, what is energizing? You are. What brings out the best in you? I tell you, I think cooking does. I do 2 things, science and cooking. I would think of cooking. My neighbor said my cooking was a scientific experiment and they were the victims. That's a terrible thing to say as you swallow my food. But, what brings out the best is when I get frustrated with something, I need something I can do. I can finish. I can check off. Look, I had the ingredients. I put them together. I mixed them up. I did whatever heat application was called for. And then the people got to eat it. Now, whether they enjoyed it or not was not my enjoyment. My enjoyment was actually getting something done that could be done that way. It's just frustrating. So, what are you most proud of? My kids. I think most of us would say that. Even kids that have gone astray, you figure they're going to come back someday. Now, what's something that you've been working towards that's now a reality? Absolutely nothing. I haven't finished anything in my life. I still have sleeves from dresses. Okay, I've got a dress partially made. It's got no zipper. It's got no sleeves. I still have it. It's been 25 years since I was working on it. I just don't think I've ever finished anything in my life. And how's your rest and sleep? Like a baby. When I learned to breathe before I went to bed, lay your hands on your tummy and find your diaphragm. You know how to find your diaphragm? I'm going to teach this stuff no matter what. Put your tongue out like you're saying. No, don't put it out of your mouth. Not out of your mouth. Just open your mouth and do with your tongue laid out so the doctor can get his little scoopy thing back in the back. Okay? Go All right, now pant while you're doing now pant slowly. Do you see your diaphragm is moving? Your belly is moving all on its own. You found your diaphragm. Okay, lie down, find your diaphragm, put your hands on it, lay in as much as you can, and do 4 really deep breaths of 4 seconds each. In 4 seconds, hold 4 seconds, blow 4 seconds, and then just let the air escape 4 seconds. If you live by yourself, you can sing or talk. It doesn't matter. But now that's 4 seconds, 4 times 4, that's 16 seconds. And do that 4 times, that's 1 minute and 6 seconds. And let me tell you something. On about the second round, when you do that 4 times, about the 5th time, you'll start to yawn. If you don't fight that, you'll be gone. Get up to go pee. Pardon me. Go winky tink. Well, in that case, you do the very same thing and you'll fall asleep. And your rest and sleep is everything. Part of your immune system is in your brain. 15% of your immune system in your brain, only discovered in 2013, published in 2015. We had to change all the drawings in medical books because we didn't know part of our immune system was up there. We knew 60% was in our gut and 35% was in our lymphatic system, but we had no idea we had 15%. I can't add. I may have made 115. But 15%, and it only works when you sleep, and you deep sleep. If you're not sleeping, they've actually linked this lack of sleeping with and your immune system problems that result from that as being plaque and Alzheimer's. It's linked to Alzheimer's. Sleep is vital. Ooh, night, night. Okay, so now, look, Rose, what's working for you? Now, Bud, things could get good. What opportunities are being presented to you? That's a hard one for me to answer for myself, but I think it's hard for everyone. What ideas do you want to explore? Oh, I've got a list, 1,000 of them. What are you looking forward to? Seeing my kids again. Since we've been through this pandemic, they have been set, they're all over the United States, and I don't get to see them that often. What have you been wanting for a long time, but have let fear hold you back? I wanted to write a book, but I've been scared to death of that. So, whatever. What would you love to do in the coming week, month, or year? I'd like to take a bath, an uninterrupted, totally warm bath in my own home and put on clean clothes. My wants are very simple at this point. What would you like to learn? Everything there is in neuroscience, and I'll never have time. Oh, God, they're finding out stuff quicker than I can learn it. Okay, what isn't working well for you right now? Some of us can make a list 20 pages long. Is there a challenge or obstacle in your way? And can you do anything about it? That's one of the most important things for me. A lot of times, the challenge or obstacle is the fact that this is a small organization I work for. It's close to my home. And there's no place to go. There's no place for me to advance myself. I can't go any further than I've gone. I want to, but that obstacle is a natural part of the process. I mean, it's not something I can remove. And so, if something caused you to be distressed most of the time, well, yes, if you're not married to the person, that's really good. I'm only kidding. No, I'm not. Is there something that feels out of control or out of your control? And some of us are control freaks. If we're not controlling everything, we are miserable. I'm a control freak. I mean, I don't plan to get over that. That's not one of my things I've evaluated as a negative. I'm sorry, I like it and I want to be in control, so there. Who or what is draining you? I think the pandemic was part of it because I can't get to see my sister in the nursing home. And the other part was this weather. But there are people in this country who are dealing with this weather 4 or 5 times longer, 20 times longer than I have been doing it. But our grid is not set up for it in Texas. And I didn't hear about snow in Texas for a long time. And beliefs may be holding you back. And that's a good one as well. I mean, what's not working for you right now and what thoughts and beliefs are holding you back? That's hard for you to say in a lot of ways. You might actually want to talk to someone about that. Finding a sounding board. You don't have to have a private therapist or counselor, a sounding board, somebody who's kind of neutral on life, who doesn't have like a ton of opinions, thank God, but they give you feedback. And what you have to do is, if you ask for their feedback, be willing to take their feedback, please. Because I mean, there's times people have said, just tell me honestly, I won't be upset. So I told them honestly, and then they cut my off, and I wasn't their friend anymore. I said, well, thanks, you could have told me. And then there's a start, stop, and keep list, okay? What can you welcome into your life? In other words, make time and space for. Somebody has tried to get me to have a dog, okay, an animal. They do not understand that I will not make space in my life for that animal. I will use the neighbor's dog. They feed it. I walk it. I love that dog on a walk. I don't want to feed it and pick its fleas and, put collars on it. That's what I'd be happy to do. And what would you like to prioritize more? That's a really wonderful question. I think all of us should to stop and think of that. Because our prioritization of what we do, we don't really get to prioritize our own life that much. We don't get to use priorities and assign them to anything. That's actually assigned to us in a lot of ways. What habits would you like to form? Okay, we could go on forever if we just went through that one. What one thing would make a big difference in your days? Electricity. I'm sorry, I'm on a pity party. What can you slow down a bit more and take a little more time for, or be more mindful of? My plants. I should have brought them in. I looked outside and my poor plants were buried, literally buried under 6 or 7 inches of snow. And I went, oh, that's what was on my list that I didn't do. If I walked slower up my steps each day and took a little more time to feel their little, soil, they'd all be healthier. When my kids were home, I wish I had taken more time to sit with each of them. My daughter used to come in the bathroom with me. I mean, I'd get home from work and I was absolutely fractured because we had to dinner and homework and bath and ready for school and the whole slam dunk again. And I would go to the restroom, close the door. She would come in and sit at my feet to talk to me. And it was like, my first reaction was, is there no place in this house that I can be alone? I'm going to kill this child. So after the visions of my child being chopped up and thrown in the river ended, she said to me, Mom, you never sit still. You never look at me. I said, we talk all the time, Cheryl. What's wrong with you? And she said, nothing's wrong with me. You don't ever sit and talk to me. I want you to look at me when you talk to me. I want you to be with me when you talk to me. This is a very wise child. Never did like that kid. No, I'm only kidding. So we actually set time outside. Right before we went to bed, we would spend 15, 20 minutes talking. I would be the listener. Okay. She needed to talk to someone. And I wasn't there for her the way I wanted to be. What could you let go of, even for a little while? Food. I stick it in my mouth all the time. What is the one habit not serving you well? Food. Okay. What takes more energy than you have? People. What things are you doing because you feel you should be? Everything. Who or what is dragging you down? This list. Who or what is violating your boundaries? This list. What or who is messing with your sleep? Nobody, baby, messes with my sleep. I know you don't care what I think. I'm just babbling. Okay. What's working rather well for now? Who and what can keep making time for? What are the boundaries and strength you can strengthen and protect your time and energy? What or who makes you feel at ease? That's a great question. What or who makes you feel at ease? Be with that person as much as possible. What helps you stay in alignment with your values and priorities? My kids. What habits work well for you? I exercise each day, whether I want to or not. I'm screaming, crying, cussing, whatever, but I do the exercise. How can you increase having fun? Well, I have a lot of fun. I just look in the mirror and I die laughing. I'm sorry. That's really true. So, insights. Just a moment. What small act of kindness was I once shown that I will never forget? That's my favorite question out of all these questions. I don't like a lot of these questions at all. I just put them in because they were in the book. But this one I love. What small act of kindness was I once shown that I will never forget? And I will tell you mine. Because I want you to realize that some kids have this life. I was not a fed kid. I wasn't a taken care of kid. I wasn't a bathed or anything else kid. And 417 will stick in my mind forever as the most precious place in the world. It was apartment 417 where I sat outside the door because I wasn't allowed in. I wasn't clean enough to be in the house. I sat outside this woman's door and she fed me dinner every night. She would open the door, hand a plate of food out. I could just finish, set it at the floor because she didn't want me knocking because I bothered her husband. And I ate. Well, there was this week where she had never told me she was going on vacation. She was gone. I sat in front of that door right by it for 5 nights in a row. And I didn't eat that week. And I was sitting there on a Friday night when up the stairs came this woman and her husband. And the look on her face was like, oh my God, I forgot to put the cat out. You know what I'm saying? That one thing you constantly worry about when you're gone. What did I forget? She hadn't cooked dinner. They were just back from their trip. So she invited me in the kitchen to have cookies and milk. And she sat and talked to me. That small act of kindness, her putting food outside the door, because her husband would say, that kid's here again as he walked in. And it was kind of like that damned animal that's sitting out there. That act of kindness changed my life. It not only kept me held together as a kid, but it just taught me so much about the fact that people are so good. And what is my favorite way to spend a day? With my grandchildren. I have 15 grandchildren. They're all grown. They all have kids of their own. I don't care about their kids. I love them. Oh, God, I've missed them this week. So 2 moments I'll never forget. One of them I just told you about. Describe it in great detail and what makes them so unforgettable. These are my favorite list of things. Make a list of 10 to 30 things that make you smile or laugh. Oh my God, I could list 200. I couldn't imagine living with or without. Before my husband died, this question, I couldn't imagine living without him, but of course I had to. And that's a tough one for people who've lost somebody. When I'm in pain, physical, emotional, or psychological, the one thing I can do for myself is breathe, because it stops all the negative chemistry and it starts all the good chemistry, and move. I don't care how badly you feel, move something. Exercise your little fingers. I really wish others knew this about me. I don't want you to know anything about me. I just spent the whole hour talking about myself. Well, that was too bad. The thing that brings tears to my eyes, well, that's a good question. I feel most energized when make a list of everything you'd like to say yes to and a list of everything you'd like to say no to. Well, I'd like to say yes to nothing and no to everything. The words I most like to hear are, hi, Grammy, from my great-grandbabies, my grandbabies. Okay, the self-interview. Do this for your kids. At the beginning of the week, give them the list of questions and tell them on Friday night you're going to interview one at a time. What are your greatest talents and skills? Which of your talents and skills give you the greatest pride? What qualities do you admire in others? How is the public you different from the private you? Oh, kids answer that the craziest way. What is something that represents you? A song, an animal, flower, poem, symbol, jewelry, whatever. If you could accomplish only one thing before you die, what would it be? Those are good questions. Okay, please finish the sentence. I do my best when. I struggle when. I'm comfortable when. I just feel distressed when. I'm courageous when. I'm never. One of the most important things I've ever learned is, okay, I miss the great, blah, 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 blah. See how these questions repeat themselves? This is a good one. I wish I were more, could, had, knew, felt, saw, thought. Add to the list. Okay, here's the private ones. The Adverse Childhood Experiences Study. Every one of you working with children should have filled this out for yourself. There are 2 places that you can go. They're both listed. Prior to your 18th birthday, all these questions. You answer yes or no. That's all you answer. You add up your yeses and you just add up your yeses. That's all, just your yeses. And you get your score. If you haven't gone to a training on ACEs, please do. And if you haven't gone to a training that includes how you offset ACEs, the damage done by all these adversities that took you as a child, please do. This is huge. You need to know your score, but don't get hung up on it. Okay, this is a private distress check. Do you find yourself apologizing for your words or actions more than you'd like to? Do you have headaches frequently? Are they getting worse? Do you hold your breath, bite your nails, sleep less well, or find yourself smoking more? And do you have acid reflux, irritable bowel syndrome? Oh, okay, I think you should do this privately. Wasn't that private? Yes. And you can get your hand out and do that. Our daily self-reflection for children. Every day, at the end of the day that you have them, I would ask children to finish these statements, and they should do something while they're doing this. Put your thumbs up, make 2 fists and put your thumbs up, point them toward yourself and go, I am. Point them straight up and go, I have. Reach out and pull in the world and go, I can, I will, oh, whatever. Say it with feeling. I am, I can, I have, I will, and I believe. I think I listed them in the wrong order. And try to focus on the positive first. Ask them, what was your favorite thing about today? And who do you want to tell? I am, I can. It should be I am, I can, I have, I will, and I believe. So why do this reflection stuff? Well, it gives your brain an opportunity to pause among all the chaos of our day, untangle and sort through observations and experiences, consider multiple possible interpretations, and move toward learning about and understanding the most important person in your life, and that's you. You're the most important person in your own life. Now, where are you in line? I know your kids have to be first. I know maybe your husband has to be first. I know your job has to be first, quote, unquote. Where are you? Are you in line? But I don't want a PhD in me. I don't have the time. I just want self-awareness without selfishness. But I don't have to be a superwoman or a superman. And I also don't want to knife myself in the back. So you have to be careful. What you do to yourself is more dangerous sometimes than what other people do to you. You just want to be the best you can be, okay? The best me that I can be. And with children and coworkers and parents, a good place to start is to complete these statements. You are, you have, you can, you will, and I believe that when you make somebody's day, it makes you feel so great. With my kids, you are the most important kid you're the most important person in my life. You have these wonderful abilities. You can do anything. You will make someone so happy. I believe in something. And always focus on the positive first. Okay, well, I think it is 6:56. And you've been tortured for almost an hour. And you watched my face for part of that hour. Bless your precious hearts. Now, do we have any questions? Miss Dawn?
I think that you have to write them in the chat. Somebody said, what a great content to have after a busy week on a Friday night. You're amazing.
Yay!
Someone else said you didn't torture them.
Oh!
You're awesome. They could listen to you all day. A lot of people thought you should read children's books.
Oh my God. You know what? That'll be when I can no longer get out. I will read children's books. I'll put them on tape. Oh, I love that idea. There's that Zoom bar. Where is it talking? That's me. Where is my face? I don't know where my face is. Oh, hang on. Share my video. Start my video. Stop that. God, whatever. Hello. You guys are so fun. On a Friday night, you spent the night with me. I mean, well, you know, I was here. Miss Dawn. Yeah, you spent the night with me. I'm sick. I'm a strange woman. That's all right.
Did anyone have any questions? I'm not seeing.
Who let her out? How often does her keep her choker chained? I mean, is she a mad dog? Does she bite?
Somebody said they want to hear more, where there'd be more future videos, and oh, it's going so fast I can hardly read it.
Well, I have to tell you, I so appreciate what you guys do. I don't think anybody understands that the start in life, the whole future is built on what you do. Mothers and fathers just don't have time. Then there's so many mothers without a father. It's just, you make such a difference in these children's lives. And it's such a privilege to, you know, get to spend time. I'm very grateful that I'm asked. So I haven't bit anybody in years. Well, not rabid. I will tell you that the UPS man came to my neighbors. They came to my house to give me my neighbor's package and said, is this you? I said, no, they live next door. I'm their guardian. I'm their guard dog. I went, ruff, ruff, and he backed up. He didn't laugh. I mean, I thought that was funny. I'm just strange that way.
Karen has done some trainings. There, a lot of them are asking about more, and she has done some training for Region 3, and I'm sure we'll be talking to her some more. So her name's Karen Williams. So when you search on iPower, you can always search and look for something she's doing. I won't say it'll be on the next week, but we're always looking to partner with, I love Karen, so
So I love
she
Dawn,
knows
so-
that. She knows
So
that.
we've got a mutual admiration society.
Yeah. We're both cut from the same cloth, maybe.
Oh
I don't know.
God, that's so scary. Oh, some decorum, please.
So if you have any other
You know, my
questions,
email address is on every one of my PowerPoint things, but also you'll get a handout. If you, Dawn, I sent you that handout, so I hate telling them this, but they can get it from you. Or they can get it from me. They can send me an email and I'll send them the handout if they want it. So, you know.
and my email is dpowers, the letter D as in dog, Powers, POWERS, at westcca.org. So if anybody wants a PowerPoint, they can sure let me know. And we have, I don't know, Bobby, if you have the polo shirt to put up, but we have,
Oh, cool.
we drew during the session, we drew 20 names for the shirt here. So I'm going to call your name and then we're going to need your size. You don't have to put it in the chat. You can send it to me in an email. So just put, I think we have your name in your email, so we could contact you. But if you can send me that, that's always
Yeah,
helpful.
Dawn, I'll send you all the participants or attendees' names and emails, and then you'll just need to confirm sizing with them
Okay.
and a mailing address, I believe.
Okay. So everybody got that? I'm going to read your name and then I can connect with you via email to get your mailing address and your size, because there's nothing. We said we were going to shoot them out of the hot dog shooter, but since it's virtual, so this way you get one that fits. You won't get a 3X if you're a small. So the first winner is, and don't forgive me if I mispronounce names, Tracy Schutte. Second winner is Sherry Darling. Shania Hartley McCain. Robin Snickerath. Boy, she's going to have to tell me how to pronounce that. Regina Meyer. Natalie Bogarts. Mindy LaHaye. Melissa Bowman. Maggie Wire. Lindsay Schapper. Leslie Hamilton. Laurel Damasi, Kimberly Smith. Thank you, Kimberly, for an easy name. Kaylee Baker. Karen Ellsbernd. Joan West. Gladys Movil. Deb Toner. Connie Godfrey. And Bobby Nelson. The shirt says Iowa Child Care Resource and Referral, and it says I am essential. On the front right there, it says I am essential. Yes, thank you, Bobby.
Cool.
So those are our winners. I also want to take a minute and tell everybody that tomorrow's session is on finding inspiration. And we just want to thank all of you for all that you do and for joining us tonight. People who know me know I always do my little spiel that if you want these kind of things to continue, then we have to have people participate. So I really appreciate, we had a pretty good group. We weren't too sure about Friday night at 6 o'clock, but you know, with COVID and cold weather, hey. So if there's no further questions, I just want to thank everybody. And I want to thank Karen. I really appreciate it. I reached out to her and said, please, please, please write something. And she did. So thanks, everybody, and have a nice weekend.
Bye, everybody.